Hi, this is Zach Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 3rd of June. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is in this remarkable 100-point range. I mean, just amazing, really. You don't see that very often, and obviously it looks as though we're ready to break through 8,800, end of day close above that, and we could be heading to 9,000, obviously record highs by the end of this month. On the downside, not expecting anything lower than 86.50. Which was the original May resistance for this market. RSI at 64, so a bit of gas in the tank up to RSI 70 for a break to the upside. Moving along to the DAX, and here near the top of the channel, but not quite there yet. We've been looking for the top of the channel there from April last year, as high as 24,700. That's our target for the end of this month, while we're above the old March resistance, 23,500. Onto the Dow, and seemed well poised over the weekend, and still seems well poised and hardly moved at all. But what's interesting here, a bit like the FTSE, we've got it sort of just in a tiny range, hopefully ready for a break to the upside. RSI 50 rebound last week, a little bear trap below 42,000, and we're back in that channel, just about the floor of the rising red channel there from May last year. Already assuming, I suppose, that we're going to break to the upside, 42,800 and then 44,000. The only thing which is left to confirm it is, I suppose, is a break of the 200-day line and that resistance line there from February, 42,350. So just shy of that. But you can see the market just looking at it and thinking about it. Moving on to Bitcoin, where the fate of more and more companies every day rests, given their Bitcoin treasury strategy, which is apparently a perpetual motion machine in terms of making money. Here we've had recent support around 101, looking for a proper break of 106, the initial May resistance, to give us record highs again, 112,000. Best case, I suppose, at the moment is 123,000 by the end of this month, although that might be pushing it given the recent relatively slow price action that we've had for this market. Worst case is the 50-day line near 99,000 as the downside. Moving on to gold, and here still trying to hang on to the uptrend here, and good development yesterday with the break of that April resistance line. That's what we were looking for. We were also looking for a rebound above the rising 50-day line, such as we had back in April, as that is a stronger signal than just bouncing off it. Also gives us the hope that we'll have record highs through 3,500 and then get up to as high as 3,800, potentially by the end of this month. We've had a double bounce for the RSI at neutral 50, so it's a double signal. So we've got multiple signals there that gold is going up. Worse on the downside is the 50-day line, 32.35, or that's what we expect anyway. Moving on to the stocks and some really good situations, quite cheerful in terms of the moves here, exceeding expectations. In the case of Blue Star, got onto this one with the unfilled gap to the upside above, through a rising 50-day line, and the shares have done the rest. Current situation is that we hit our original target there at around 12.5 pence, and looking for this market to get up to old resistance on the way down towards the 26 level, and hoping for that. It's going to be by the end of this month. With the way things are going, so it'll be by the end of this week, while we remain above yesterday's resistance at 17 pence, above 17, looking for up to 25 or 26 pence on Blue Star. Next up is Celadon, and here, all those blue candles, so the unfilled gap to the upside off the low and above a rising 50-day line. The initial target here, 0.6, and the second target up to as high as 1.4 pence, which is the upper parallel of that rising trend channel base, and that line there from July 2023. So hopefully we get up to the 1.4 area by the end of this month, while we're above recent resistance around the 0.72 area. Let's call it 0.7 to be safe. On to Gem Resources, and here, after a long time in the wilderness, looks like there's a bit of action. Falling trend channel here, the top of the channel there at 0.33. We're looking at that by the end of this month, while we're above recent and broken neckline resistance at 0.15. So let's see if the shares can come up with the goods. Hopefully some news coming there, because I don't think we've had any news there, proper news there, since the beginning of April. Moving along to the situation at Indus, and Indus Gas, in fact, and here you can see that we have made progress well, it made progress through the 200-day line temporarily around 8 pence, ultimately looking for 13 pence, maybe by the end of this month, while we're above recent resistance at 6 pence. So looking a bit tight there in terms of getting up to 13 pence, but as long as we're above 6 pence and above that 50-day line just below it, looking good for Indus. On to ITM Power, where the only reason for including the stock today is to show off and say that we've hit our fourth target there at 70 pence. That was the best case scenario target. You can see obviously that was also resistance on the way down. There's nothing now between the 70 pence area and the previous resistance around 85 pence. So hopefully that is a target for the end of this month. And we will go with that while we're above today's support at 65 pence on an end of day close basis. MicroSalt is next, where the idea of the shares rallying hard seems to be working well. We're looking for a crackpot target there as high as £1.13, maybe by the end of next month, but the way things are going, we might even get there by the end of this month, above the 200-day line, 66 pence, looking for 100 pence plus by the end of June, quite simply. So let's see if that punchy call delivers the goods. Also, what's interesting is the way that we've had double bounce at RSI 50 over the last couple of weeks, which is a leading indicator on the upside. On to Mila, and here we've got the shares delivering the goods after gapping through the 200-day line, breaking the falling trend channel at 0.48 and heading towards the target, rather ambitious target, was at 0.84, hoping for that obviously in the next day or two while we're above recent broken resistance at 0.67. I suppose above that level, we're looking for the next level up, which probably would be the area that I'm about to deliver, which I'm trying to deliver at the moment. So basically towards a penny by the end of this month, say 0.96, the last November 2023 resistance for the share. So let's see if Mila does that while it's above that 0.7 pence zone. On to Predator with a slightly grumpy CEO, but it might be less grumpy today with the shares up. Here you can see that we made good progress above a rising 50-day line, sideways shuffle above a rising 50-day line. We've had multiple bounces of the RSI at and above neutral 50, which is 3 or 4 of those, which is normally a good sign. And looking for 5.25 pence by the end of the month, barring obviously placings and other nasties in the mix. That upside valid while we're above the 50-day line at 3 pence. On to Physiomics, which seems to be coming to life at the moment. Broadening triangle base there, and we had a full storm before. Hopefully we've had 2 full storms. Maybe we won't have a third. But end of day close above that 0.48 level, the 0.48 resistance, and we should be looking at least the 200-day moving average at 0.63 over coming days. On to Phoenix Copper, where we're on on the edge of our seats waiting for funding news, big funding news, which hopefully would be a big share price move. We've got rising 50-day line at the moment, above that at 3.8 pence, looking for 5 pence, top of that rising trend channel from back in January. On to the last two. The first one is Surface Transforms, and here you can see that we are fast approaching our target there, which is so many winners today. It's almost embarrassing, but obviously helped by the market, but we closed that gap there, 1.45 pence, and looking for up to 1.75 pence by, over the next week or so. Upside value while we hold above yesterday's resistance at 1.3 pence. Finishing off with one of the stocks of the moment, which is coming in the form of Smarter Web. What a move, and obviously caught out and upset all the bears who got it completely wrong, which is always nice, especially given how much the bulls have suffered in recent years. We've got a rising trend channel there, top of the channel there at the pound, and the floor of the channel, if you're looking for potential support, there at 60 pence. Obviously Friday's support area around 70 pence is the obvious place to buy any dips, and then look for the shares to head up towards a pound or more. The only issue now is that we need to stay above 60 pence if there are any rug pulls, which I suppose there can be on an occasional basis. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.